What's going on, all? I'm actually pretty jacked to discuss these energy squares. There's a bit of a game changer aspect to it if these are used correctly. So we should probably let's get right into it because I know there's information that you want to know, which is why you're watching this. So I'm gonna get right into it because there's a lot to say. So tip number one. Now I'll get into some real tips about these, but tip number one, which I had to do, was open it from the bottom. And the reason for this is the bottom. The way the box is designed is the bottom is nowhere near as sturdy as the top, which is sealed together. So just kind of trust me on this. Open it from the bottom and pull them off from the bottom. And as you can see, this is the sample pack, and which one? Yeah, this puppy. This is the one. We're going to talk about peanut butter dark chocolate, but this applies to all of them. They're all relatively the same macro-wise. I mean, you really don't need to worry about. So here we go. All right, sorry for the delay. Let's get into it. The reason why this puppy has proven to be a game. I mean, this elicits my gratitude, and I'm going to tell you why. This is not like your normal glowing review. This is really something, and here's why. For those of you that have read my book Rockstar Recipes back in the day, back then, and we're talking back then was a while ago, nothing like this existed. So while I was on the road all the time with bands that you've probably never heard of unless you're over the age of 40, the lifestyle was, for those of you who haven't read it, for those of you who have read it, you remember that I used to have to make stuff every morning and put it in plastic bags to take with me that are essentially these. So this actually solved that problem, and it's amazing to me that we now live in a future where this is just readily available, because nothing like this existed. There was a time in our lives where nothing like this existed, and I really think that we should all take a step back in gratitude to be super grateful that the future did not turn out to be dystopian, that stuff like this exists. Now, and for a variety of reasons. So for those of you who haven't read it and don't know what I'm talking about, so when I be on the road, the lifestyle is pretty demanding. You'd be up, as you can imagine, you'd be up really late at night, and then on a couple hours of sleep have to get up because you'd have to do a video interview to a country that's 12 hours ahead, right? So it was pretty demanding, and this was day in and day out. And back then, nobody really cared about their health. I mean, the lifestyle was just pretty hedonistic. So everyone's driving through fast food because there's just no time. There is no time to get real food. So it's whatever you could bring with you and stash with you in the small space that you had. So I'd be in the hotel room, mixing protein powders, and it was whey protein back then. There was no plant-based protein. So it was, mixing peanut butter and, as a binding agent, or almond butter if I was lucky enough to have it, with with protein and nuts and fruits and stuff, just to have something healthy. Because I swear to God, back then I was pretty much the only one who cared about macros and calories, and I didn't even know if I called it that, right? Like that word may not have been there, right? So it was so much work. Flash forward to now, like, I really think we all need to be grateful over the convenience factor of what's available to us, and the fact that there are enough people out there who care enough about their health and wellness that there's a market for products like this. All right, now let's get into this specific product. So here's actually the main tip you really note about this, and the only downside with this puppy. So to back to that. So I mean, the purpose of this, if you do this well, because this does have a lot of caffeine in it. Now the caffeine release gets a little timed because of all the other stuff that's in here. and it's gonna give you energy, but I didn't experience a crash. It's a nice energy, but I also didn't experience a either, which is a good thing. So I would probably still have a cup of tea or something as I'm getting this, but it's definitely something you can really only have in the morning. But if you're on a schedule, and this still happens, I don't necessarily have to tour now like I did when I was younger, but I'll be on vacation with family, and they're on vacation. They don't care about their health on vacation. So, there's it's I I generally just don't eat the food other people eat. Like I like to get my macros, and this is just so convenient. This can pop in the entire box can pop into backpacks, or in my pocket just to take with me when on like excursions. And but this is definitely a morning puppy. So here comes my tip. Like what you really need to know is the major downside is the calorie to protein ratio. It's gonna eat up your calories for the day pretty intensely. So, I mean, depending on the type of day you're having and what you're planning, I mean, we're talking 200 calories for 10 grams of protein. That's quite a bit. But again, it's got everything I want in it, right? So I'm gonna reach my fat macros pretty easily with this. The carb macros, it helps a little. I mean, and they are healthy carbs, and I do appreciate that. The added sugar content is a healthy sugar. It's got monk fruit. Monk fruit didn't exist for me back in the day either, right? So if I tried not to use sugar in my concoctions that I used to have to make these versions I used to have to make myself, then monk fruit is also a game changer ingredient in this magical near utopian future that we live in. Like if I can go back in time and explain to my younger self what the world would be like now, eh, I would again, I'd be happy, right? Like it's just not it wasn't the dystopian nightmare that we all expected the world to turn into. I mean, we've got challenges, but I think we all really do need to take a step back in the gratitude for the convenience factor and everything we have available to us to be able to live our best lives. I mean, so the health wise, it's there, and caffeine wise, you really do need to be prepared for it. Take that into consideration. But it's, I mean, so if you're gonna have a really busy day where you're not gonna have a chance, and here's really what I mean by if you eat these correctly. If you're gonna have a busy day and not have a chance to eat regular food, this is where this comes in. I mean, this is a meal replacement and more like a morning replacement. So if you've had that late night and you've got to be on point very quickly. You don't even have time to slurp down some coffee, right? And let alone get in your initial morning macros. I mean, this for me, this ideal would be on a day like on a yoga day or a Tai Chi day, which was technically like a rest day or a deloading day, would be, get up, have a little bit of regular caffeine, a little bit, just enough to get through a quick workout, just a quick workout, like a rest day style workout, and then have this as the post workout, and then get on with the day. Because those days where I only have 10 or 15 minutes before everyone's screaming at me to to get on it, right? For your day full of responsibilities, or if you're midday and you can handle caffeine midday and you're on an excursion like a hiking excursion or you're just running from meeting to meeting, this will fill those needs again because of the high fat macros in here. I generally will be saving this for on the lower workout days, because on the lower workout days like rest days, and my rest days I'm still working out on rest days, I get my fat macros a little higher because I'm getting a lower calories for that day. So versus a workout day where I'm going to focus a little more on the carbs and lower a little on the fat. But anyways, that's just me personally. For I think most people who use this, I think you will use this as a meal replacement because you are lacking in time, and man, is good stuff in here. I mean, it's good stuff. So a box of these are going to last me a long time, but I'm super grateful that this exists.